If you could talk to the 20-year-old Mike, what would you say to him?
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad. It's gonna really hurt. Life is gonna hurt him really bad.
I'm Mike Tyson. I'm labeled a dangerous guy, bad guy. So I really figured out that I said, why am I going to this test? And they didn't understand why we're going to do it. One of the doctors said, they're afraid that you're going to hurt somebody, either in the ring and out the ring. And I was dumbfounded, because I said, what about somebody hurting me?
Sometimes my whole life I thought I was in the guard of the savages. Look where I came from. I hated, so sorry for myself. Had chips on my shoulder because I was always poor. I was uneducated. I'm a monster, watch me ring, and all that stuff. And I just found out I'm a little scary boy. And I'm no tough guy.
Will anyone care about me being hurt? No one ever cares about Mike. They look at me like I'm some juggernaut. I'm stone cold, no emotion. But maybe I project myself to be that way because that's my defense mechanism. But in all actuality, I'm very fragile. And that's why I strike out so much, because I'm fragile and immediately hurt.
I live fear. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm what fear looks like. Look at me. If you think anybody's afraid of me, I'm probably 1,000 times more afraid of them than they are of me. That's why I'm more aggressive than they are. My whole life is fear-based.
How did you endure that, survive that?
I'm made for that. That's what I'm made for. Absolutely, that's who I am. I want to be up more than anybody wants me to be down.
But just because I'm that type of person, I'm that extreme of a person, they fingered me to be a monster. I am who I am, and I'm gonna die being who I am, and I'm gonna live being who I am. This is just who I am. And if you can't handle me being I am, you have a problem within yourself.
The more I hurt them, the more spectacularly I hurt them, the better my life would be. And that's how my mindset was. The most successful people that ever lived in history are megalomaniacs, but they got a low self-esteem. They don't think much about themselves, but they think they're God on the other hand, too. Anytime you want to be the best in the world at anything, it's going to be disappointment. It's almost like you almost have to give your happiness up to accomplish your goal.
I was thinking of a line of George Orwell where he says, autobiography is only to be trusted when it reveals something disgraceful. A man who gives a good account of himself is probably lying, since any life, when viewed from the inside, is simply a series of defeats.
How do I express this? I was never able to understand the concept of greatness. I just never was able to understand that concept of greatness. As time went on and I've gotten older, I've met many journeys on people that I met on my journey. The majority of greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. I spent all my life trying to become great because I had such a low self-esteem. And I realized late in life that all great men are not good men. And then so I tried to embark on a whole different career and try to become good. So how do we live in those two dimensions at once? You want that greatness for self-gratification, but you want goodness from a human perspective. And I really have no idea, no clue how do I juggle both of them and be in harmony. And then in all actuality, they don't exist. You have to pick a side. I always cry before I fight.
You did? Always cry before you fight? What were you crying about?
I don't know. That's just who I am.
Yeah, but go further. What's the emotion? Are you?
I'm getting ready to change into somebody I don't like.
You're getting ready to change change into the fighter.
Yeah.
And you don't like that fighter?
Not really. No, not really.
Wow. You are the greatest fighter that ever lived, and you didn't like that guy.
No, because he came more with fighting. He brought more than just fighting with him.
What do you mean?
He brought like jealousy, enviness, guilt. He brought a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's who I was. Everything that was bad was that guy. See all your fights and stuff? All your knockouts is spectacular. Know what that means? All this good stuff happening to you, you know what that means? That you're favored by God. You know that, right? But you may not know too. When you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. He's coming for you too. So you just gotta be strong and stay on the right side. Whose side you gonna go on? He's gonna give you power too. He's gonna get in your head too, but it's whose side you gonna stay with. You stay with who brought you here. You go home with the guy that brought you to the dance. Fear is our friend. Fear is like fire. You know what I mean? If you're afraid of it and you let it get out of control, it can destroy you and everything around you. But if you control it, it can cook food for you, it can heat you, keep you warm. It can be your friend, it can fight for you. You know what from my experience I found out? That God, it tests you. It tests you and see how much of this you can take before you say, let's just be finished with this. You know what I mean? It wants to show you something. It wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life, I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you got to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful. Then we lose somebody, oh, life sucks. Life is beautiful because life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. Listen, the ups and downs are not over, believe it or not, in life. And my whole success is from belief, something I can feel but not actually see.
Who is the real me? The sad guy, the happy guy, the confident guy, the guy with remorse? There's lots of different Mike Tyson.
We're all creatures of contradiction because we truly don't know who we are. We're constantly searching who we are. But I don't know, it's just that makes me who I am. If I wasn't that way, you wouldn't be interviewing me. That makes me Mike. You know what I mean? I'm not a straight guy. Doing what I do and normal don't go along with one another. And you like that reflection you see in the mirror. I guess everything could be cool with that.
Does it make sense for you to have a happy ending?
I don't know about that. We're dealing with life on life terms. It's out of my control, truly. When that feeling comes, you have no control over it. I might want to die tomorrow, and that's just what it is. And that's how my mind works. I don't know what I want to do. I just know right now I want to live and experience life, and I don't know what life has in store for me, but I'm not afraid to find out.
When you make a choice and say, come hell or high water, I'm going to be this, then you should not be surprised when you are that.
Man, I gave my soul to this game. There's nothing more I could give. Nothing. But I'm telling you, it goes by fast. And if you don't give it your all, you're going to regret it.
I love what I do. And it's as simple as that.
What does love feel like for you?
What does love feel like? I think I describe it as a beautiful journey. It has its ups and downs. Things are never perfect, but through love, you continue to persevere. And you move through them, you move through them. Through that storm, beautiful sun emerges. Right? And inevitably another storm comes, and guess what? You ride that one out too. So I think love is a certain determination and persistence to go through the good times and the bad times with the someone or something that you truly love. I had a summer where I played basketball when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I scored not a free throw, nothing, not a lucky shot, not a breakaway layup, 0 points. And I remember crying about it and being upset about it, and my father just gave me a hug and said, listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm gonna love you no matter what. Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child, because from there I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there. But to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. There's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, it's a choice that you have to make. We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. And what I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that. I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. So when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library. The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what the mentality means. It means every day, you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest. I want to be one of the best basketball players who've ever played. Okay, how do I get there? And every decision I made in my life was centered around the process of helping me eventually get there. Like you're always going after it. Always going after it, always going after it. And if there's a challenge that ensues, oh good, I want to see how I stack up to that. So I had that purpose. Once I had that purpose, every decision that I made was centered around that purpose. I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. You always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you believe you can work harder than that. So you go after it. What I've learned is to always keep going, always. There's been times, particularly early in my career, where it just feels like this is the end. But what I've come to find out is that, no matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready.
And I gave my soul to this game, man. There's nothing more I could give. Nothing.
You guys know that, if you do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. You know that, we all know that. But hopefully what you get is the understanding that those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Every kid, every person has the ability to put one foot in front of the other, right? So like if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, you're at the bottom of the mountain and you look up and you're going, I'm not gonna climb Mount Everest, right? But if you break it down into sections and you just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, next thing you know, you're at the top of the mountain. So like as a kid, I said, I wanna be the best ever. Right? And now you go through your life and everything you do is try to be the best ever, be the best ever, be the best ever. And as you get older, you start understanding that those things are very superficial things, right? And everybody has a different opinion about it. No matter what you do, I can win 20 championships. There's always an opinion on who's the best. Everybody has different opinions. And so I started really kind of understanding maybe that's not the important thing. Maybe the important thing is to, how do we as a team grow? How do I help my teammates be better? So that was the first change for me. And then as I got older still, it became more about how are you inspiring others, right, to find themselves. That is the ultimate championship. How do you use your passion and use that to inspire somebody else to create their passion? And then how can they pass that on to the next person? That is true success. The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. Always seek out things you love and always work hard once you find it. You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality.
My mind can handle the grind, but my body knows it's time to say goodbye. And that's okay. You asked for my hustle. I gave you my heart.
This is what we talk about all the time. You have a bump in the road, you fall, you get back up, and you go after it again, right? That's what we do.
Michael Jordan tells me one day he wants to be the best player to ever play here. And I said, well, you got to work harder than you did in high school. He said, I worked as hard as everybody else. I said, oh, excuse me. I thought you just told me you want to be the best player to ever play here. He said, I'm going to show you. Nobody will ever work as hard as I work.
Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play. We only dream about doing things that he can do.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead!
Played professional basketball for the Chicago Bulls.
32 seconds to go. A 1-point lead for Georgetown. Gordy to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan, Michael Jordan.
If I had to trace my evolution, the Michael Jordan evolution, it always had to start back in college. Hitting the shot against Georgetown in 1982 when I really didn't know exactly what I was doing.
Carolina has won the 1982 NCAA championship.
It awakened a person inside of me to excel, to compete to excel, to be one of the best or be the best. That drove me. And I guess with that shot, it kind of ignited a fire inside of me that nothing was gonna stop.
My biggest motivation in life, is to compete, find different competitions in certain things in life and try to overcome that, be it positive or negative. But I have yet to meet someone who is as competitive as me.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
It was 97, we was in Minnesota, and Flip had switched and put me on Michael Jordan, one of the greatest probably ever touched the ball. And I counted his dribbles. I was able to catch his dribbles, I counted the dribbles. 1, 2, come across. When I blinked, he was gone. I turned around, he was dunking the ball, giving somebody dapping halfway down the court, that fast. That's when I knew Michael Jordan wasn't human.
When you step on the floor, it doesn't matter how many times you've done it before. All that matters is that you do it now.
Be true to the game, because the game will be true to you. If you try to shortcut the game, then the game's going to shortcut you. If you put forth the effort, good things will be bestowed upon you. That's truly about the game. And in some ways, that's about life, too.
For me, losing just is the worst feeling in life at anything, whether it's cars, golf, basketball, whatever it is.
I hate losing. It's not even a question. But I have to respect losing, because losing is a part of winning.
Yeah.
You never just, win. You got to lose to win. Losing is going to hurt.
Absolutely.
To a point where you would look at, how can I do things different? How can I change? How can I make this team better? And that's the thing about a team, and this too, is that before you can look at someone else, you got to look at yourself in the mirror, because that's how things get started. And you got to be willing to change.
You are without question one of the most gifted players I've ever seen. What makes you different from other people?
Once again, it falls back to my parents in terms of how I approach a situation. I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then my road to success is going to continue to expand.
Look, I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, Don't play that.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for. Every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
Why I'm the number one? Sometimes I ask that question to myself. Why me and not another one?
I think I'm good, but I think my main strength is my mind.
I think the rest is relevant. You have to be charismatic. People have to feel some connection with you.
Ronaldo! Cristiano Ronaldo!
The life, it's all about the balance.
Do you think what makes you different to the others, to the next rung on the ladder, if you like, of very good players, is the dedication level that you put in?
I'm always say it's all package. You know, first of all, it's the talent helps a lot, of course. But of course, the ethic of work. You have to put in your mind ethic of work when you are professional.
With the age, you start to understand that the most important thing is you know 100% your body and training smart.
Well, Ronaldo's mentality, isn't it? I think that's what makes him the player he is.
I know how to be good, how to be fit, how to protect the body. It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
He was already arguably Portugal's most potent attacking weapon.
I dedicate myself and I'm working hard, and this is why the goals and all the achievements that I get coming from dedication and hard work.
He really wanted to leave everything on the field.
Because I think the main point is the mind. If you feel motivated, it helps a lot. So I still feel motivated.
And that's exactly what we saw.
Ronaldo, you said that Ronaldo! Oh, what a screen! We're going to play in Ronaldo. It is Ronaldo! It's 2-1 United! There's Ronaldo! Oh, my goodness! Restored to this great gallery of the game. A walking work of art. Beat Zabaleta, Ronaldo! Vintage, beyond valuation, beyond forgery or imitation. The theatre lives its dream! It's fantasy hero retreads the board! 18 years since that trembling teenager of touch and tease. Cristiano on his right. Cristiano! The drought is over!
First tiptoed onto this storied stage. Now in his immaculate maturity. CR7.
The numbers don't lie. If you see during the last 15 years, my level is always kind of the same. Effort, dedication, work hard, because the talent is not enough.
This is why I say I like to live by example.
And if you're not dedicated 100%, you're not gonna reach the level that you want.
Are you addicted?
Yes, I am. I'm addicted to the success.
Day by day, we're getting old. Every one of us. You understand? It's normal. You have to adapt.
We'll be here. The difference will be here. When I say success, it's I work for that.
And I think nobody in this game have this brain that adapts with his age.
Talent is not enough. You have to. I dedicate myself so much that this is part of me. Records is part of me.
60%, 70% of my life is the base of football. You know, I dedicate myself not just to training, but to prepare myself. Sometimes you plan one thing for your life, and as I've told many times, the life is dynamic, and you never know what's going to happen. I'm not the kind of guy to like to give advice. I prefer to be as example, because I'm an example. I don't follow the records. The records follow me. It's part of my sacrifice, my obsession to win, to have success.
You currently have 145 records where you've been most, first, or only something in professional football.
Nobody's perfect. I'm still in the process to learn. But the most of the times, 90% of my successful, if you say to maintain my fitness, my body, it's sleep good, training well. I'm there every morning. I do the same stuff. I'm probably the first ones to arrive and the last ones to go out. I think the details speak for themselves.
Out of this world, Cristiano Ronaldo!
You're a team player in the sense you love to win big team competitions, but you also love individual awards. They matter to you.
Oh my goodness, what a hit that is. Irrepressible, irresistible.
That's the thing that really drives you.
Yes, I think so. I think it's good. It motivates me. If something doesn't motivate you, it's better, to stop. The record's coming in a natural way. It's different. But when you are close, you say, why not?
Deep down within my soul, a true-bred born fighting man who never quits, never says die. And if I was ever gonna jack it, it wouldn't have been in a boxing ring, it'd have been when I was suffering with mental health. I was on the verge of suicide. That's when I quit. But I didn't quit on myself, and I didn't quit on the world. That's why I'm back here to tell a story. Maybe I was finished in my body, but my mindset was that strong and I believed that I was gonna win. If you believe it first with the mind, anything's achievable. And I believed it so much, and I never ever doubt myself in a fight, no matter who it is with who. I always believe I'm going to win somehow, some way. I'll find a way.
For those people, all the oppressed, depressed, alcoholics, drug addicts, I fight for all those people. It's to give them hope every day so they can wake up in the morning and know there's somebody out there banging for us. He is our man. I just showed the world tonight, everyone suffering with mental health, that you can come back and it can be done. Everybody out there who has the same problems that I've been suffering with, did that for you guys. And if I can come back from where I come from, then you can do it too.
Like, is he going here? Is he going there? Is he moving? Is he jabbing? He'll come at you like this with 2, 3 fake jabs. He'll move out of the way. He'll pop you with a jab as he's moving away. He's like a very technical, like really sophisticated boxer.
A great man, a great man once said, "For he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing."
This fight is going to be all over. Tyson Fury
time and time again that I can never be wrote off. I can never be beaten till I'm down and out. Greatness never becomes easy. You never get anything good easy. Anything that's good in life is always very hard to get, or everybody would have it. You've got to be willing to take risks. And I've risked everything my whole career to get to this point.
What is successful? You know, the world has different things of what success is to what really success is, I think. Success is, to me, is waking up in a good mood, having a good day, surrounded by people who you want to be surrounded by. That sort of success. Success to me isn't measured on how much money you've got or what business ventures you're into. Success for me is being happy in your home and with your wife and your kids or your partner, whoever you've got, being happy with those people. That's success to me.
Before I used to take everything and think, oh, I want this, I want that. I was never happy with what I got. It's human nature, we always want more. No matter what it is, no matter how much you've got of something, then you're always searching for more things. And now it's like, I don't care if I lose everything, I don't care what happens. Nothing really is ours anyway in life. The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. And this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this. You know, everything else, this bag, this watch, these clothes, they'll all go. What does it really matter? Body will go, this is a shell. But what's inside, hope to God, lives on forever.
I just do more than I've ever done. I sacrifice more today than I did when I was absolutely starting off with nothing, from the bottom. And I don't know even how that's possible. I'm tighter today, now I've made it, than I ever was coming up. I'm more stricter, more dedicated, train more, smarter, train smarter. Before it was like, it's this dream job to be heavyweight champion of the world and all that comes with it. But when you get there to the top, you find out that the real only thing that matters is your training, is your boxing, is your fights, and all the other that comes along with it. The fame, the glory, the credit, the articles, the money, whatever you can buy with the money. It's all short-lived crap. Because at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last tenner. And that's all she wrote.
Life is precious and it's beautiful just to wake up in the morning. Before I used to take it all for granted. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about family, friends, relatives, achievements. I didn't care about all. But now, after going to hell and back, I appreciate fresh air and a glass of water. You never know what you've really got until it's gone. But I've had the opportunity to be shot down and come back. I think life's too short for regrets. We live, we learn, we get on with our lives. I never regret like, oh, wish I didn't eat that, or wish I didn't say that. I think it's all unimportant stuff. What we did yesterday is history, it's not really important. It's about living for today. Not even for tomorrow, living for today and being thankful for what we have now, not for what we want, or what we might think we want. I used to worry about a lot of stuff in my life, worry about what people think, worry about making people happy, worrying about X, Y, and Z. Now I don't. I worry about being happy now and being happy today and tomorrow. So that's how we're not promised tomorrow. So I live today because I know that I am not guaranteed to wake up in the morning. So I'm just going to be happy for now. And that's how I live. One day at a time. If I go to bed sad tonight, I think to myself, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. I'm going to wake up happy.
Early to bed, early to rise. Just remember, you can't climb that ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. I always tell people that you can call me anything that you want. You can call me Arnold, you can call me Schwarzenegger, you can call me the Austrian Oak, you can call me Schwarzi, you can call me Arnie, but don't ever call me a self-made man. I didn't make it that far on my own. I mean, to accept that credit or that medal would discount every single person that has helped me to get here today. Listen, when I came to the United States, I remember that I trained 5 hours a day, every day, and I was managing a construction business, and I was a bricklayer, and I went to college also, and I took acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock midnight. All of that in one day, every day I did that. I did not worry about it. I knew that I had 24 hours and I didn't want to waste one single hour. The bottom line is, if I would have listened to the naysayers, my career would have ended when I was 15 years old. I would be still yodeling in Austria, in the Alps. And the reason why I'm here today and talking to you is because I did not listen to you can't, or it's impossible, or no. So I just recommend you very strongly, ignore the naysayers. So shoot for the top, shoot for the sky. Work like hell. Trust yourself. Break some rules. Don't be afraid to fail. That's what life is all about, is overcoming obstacles.
It is impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you're too well behaved and don't want to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? That out of the 24 hours of the day, that I don't waste one single hour. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail.
I was poor because I didn't have anything, but I was rich because I had a dream.
Anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it and if you believe in yourself. No matter how successful you are, life will throw obstacles in your path. But if you have a very clear vision of exactly what you want to do and who you want to be, you can go and find a way around all of these obstacles. If you think that you're gonna go and accomplish something really special and be the best in anything in the world, and you think you can do it without working, you make a big mistake. When I got hurt, I was in pain, in agony, and had to do it over and over again. I did not care if I was bleeding on my knees because I know that pain is temporary. Always discover your vision and the rest will follow.
Paining your muscles and aching and just think go on and go on and go on. That divides them, one from a champion and one from not being a champion. If you can go through this pain period, you make it to be a champion. If you can't go through, forget it. And that's what most people lack, is having the guts to go in and just say, I go through and I don't care what happens.
If you only remember one thing today, it is you must have a very clear vision. You must develop that very clear vision. Ask yourself, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. You see, a disaster can change what you are. It can steal jobs and force you inside. But it is who you are that rises in the face of adversity. What stands in the way becomes the way. So whenever someone said to me, it can't be done, I heard it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. I looked forward to another 1,000 reps of sit-ups. I looked forward to another 500 pounds of leg press or squat. I looked forward to more and more curls until my arms fall off. Why? Because I knew that every rep that I did, and every set that I did, and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision
the reality. That's impossible. That can't be done. Or no. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust yourself. Get out there and work like hell. And break some of the rules and never, ever be afraid of failure. This is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. Because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. The majority of people don't like what they're doing. Because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. Of course there's a chance that you can fail. When you lift the weight, I tried 10 times to lift bench press 500 pounds. And I failed. But the 11th time I did it. So never give up and never be afraid of failure because otherwise you box yourself in and you limit yourself. I was never afraid to fail when I ran for governor. I was never afraid to fail to tackle anything because you should not be afraid of failure. That's just part of life.
I mean, people should just realize that a lot of things in life that are difficult. And you have to ask yourself the question right off the top, you know, are you going to be one of those guys that are going to go and back off every time something is difficult? Or do you want to be one of those guys that says, look, it doesn't matter if it's easy or difficult or most difficult, I'm going to go and crush through it. That's me. That's the person that I want to be, and I'm going to prove it to myself and I'm going to prove it to the rest of the world. That you don't ask yourself, should I or shouldn't I? You just do it.
That we can do it alone. None of us can. The whole concept of the self-made man or woman is a myth. As soon as you understand that you are here because of a lot of help, then you also understand that now is time to help others. Tear down this mirror. Tear down this mirror that makes you always look at yourself. And you will be able to look beyond this mirror and see the millions of people that need your help. Have a clear vision where you want to go. What is it that you're really passionate about? And then go after that. No matter what it takes, go after that. As crazy as it may sound, because you got to do something that you really enjoy doing.
A life will be always about obstacles in front of you. And it is the way to overcome those obstacles. There's nothing unusual. That's the way it is. So when you know your vision, every setback, every stepping stone, every struggle, all resistance builds your inner strength, builds your character, makes you strong as a person.
When you have one little victory, little victories add up, and that is what gives you then ultimately confidence.
Embrace the climb towards your vision, and not just the selfie that you take at the top. Because the climb is what makes you grow and build who you want to be. It's the climb. It's time to start developing your vision, and it's time to start climbing towards that vision.
Certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else, and just being really rigorous in making that assessment.
People take too many things they assume too many things to be true without sufficient basis in that belief. It's very important that people closely analyze
what is supposed to be true. Try to say, let's analyze things from first principles, not by analogy or not by convention.
I also had sort of a slight existential crisis because I was trying to figure out what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened, and that's really the only way forward. And this was against the advice of pretty much everyone I talked to. One friend made me sit down and watch a bunch of videos of rockets blowing up. Let me tell you, he wasn't far wrong. Tough going there in the beginning because I'd never built anything physical. I mean, I built like little model rockets as a kid and that kind of thing, but I never had a company that built anything physical. So I had to kind of figure out how to do all these things and bring together the right team of people. And so we did all that and then failed 3 times.
I think also people tend to overweight risk on a personal level. Let's say you're young and you're just coming out of college or coming out of high school or whatever. What do you risk? You know, you're not going to stop. People should be less risk averse when there's not much at risk. I wouldn't say I'm fearless. In fact, I think I feel fear quite strongly. If what we're doing is what I'm doing is I think is important enough, then I just override the fear. Trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. Sort of quite exciting for the first several months starting a company, and then reality sets in. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought, and then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company advises people to have a high pain tolerance. For this, like, there are many more ways to fail than to succeed. Failure is not a big stigma. So it's like if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Learn from that and do another company, and it's not a big deal. I think that the thing that drives me is that I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that, to be inspired by what is likely to happen, and to look forward to the next day. The difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that can actually have merit. And that is a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things? Very rigorous in your self-analysis. If you assume things are true by convention, which is actually what most people do, then it's difficult to gain insight into how things can be bettered. You want to make sure that the underlying premises are valid and applicable, and then in reaching a conclusion, that the conclusion you're reaching is necessarily driven by the underlying premises and the interconnection between those premises.
When I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and that's really true. If you go back, say 300 years, the things that we take for granted today you'd be burned at the stake for. I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic.
You had that third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.
This is the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth that it's been possible to extend life beyond Earth. Before this, it was not possible. How long will this window be open? It may be open for a long time, or it may be open for a short time. I think it would be wise to assume that it is open for a short time. Every waking hour, that's the thing I would say. Okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year. now is the time to take risk. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
And like one of the most difficult choices I've ever faced in life was in 2008. Maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. And when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, building something, it's like a child. Am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
We're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed, and we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded.
You guys are the magicians of the 21st century. Don't let anything hold.
We're trying so hard in our lives to fit in. We try to fit into certain groups, certain frats, certain sororities, among certain friends. Yet the people we idolize are the ones that stand out. But when you're prepared, there is no fear. There is no fear of failure, okay? Because even if you've walked out of something and you feel like you failed at it, your preparation is so strong that you're gonna take that failure and turn it into the outcome you desire. And most people stop at failure. We've all failed at things. It's the most powerful tool you can use. But it all depends on how you use it. It's that drive inside of you, okay? It's what we talk about, the dark side. The dark side is filled with failure, but it's the fuel that burns you like something that's never burned inside you before.
There's a single definition of success. Look at yourself in a mirror in the evening and wonder if you disappoint the person you were at 18 right before people get corrupted by life. Let him or her be the only judge. Not your reputation, not your wealth, not your standing in a community, not the decorations on your lapel.
We bullshit each other. We bullshit ourselves. It's the hardest thing to do is not to bullshit ourselves. If we don't bullshit ourselves on some level, it's too painful to be alive. And that's what your art is. Your art is telling the truth in ways that you can't in life.
As long as I enjoy what I'm doing, I train hard, I have no regrets, and all I can do is give my best, then it's going to be fine, regardless of the outcome. It's important for me to actually hear criticism sometimes, because I think that's what makes me a better player.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. I think a lot of people they see you run and they say, oh, you look so easy, you really look effortless. But before it gets to that point, it's hard. It's like hard work. Day in, day out, sacrifice, day in, day out.
You have a limited time to stay on earth.
It really gets into behaving in a rational manner. It's not getting in your own way. As I say, everybody here has the ability absolutely to do anything I do and much beyond. And some of you will and some of you won't. But it will, the ones that won't, it will be because you get in your own way. It won't because the world doesn't allow you to. It will be because you don't allow yourself to.
The indomitable will, if you have a belief you can do something, the only way you grow that, like in the gym, you grow your muscles by actually exercising them. You know, you grow the love of you and your wife by caring for them and having their back. To grow the individual will to become something, you must get comfortable with fear and failure. They must be your best friends. They're the only one that moves that needle of light.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into, given that, you know, even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. If you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think.
Are you the best footballer in the world right now?
I think so, yes. In my mind, I'm always the best. I don't care what the people are thinking, what they say. In my mind, not just this year, but always, I'm always the best. I'm always going to say that.
I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean, a lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right.
You need to bet on your strengths and don't give a fuck about what you suck at.
If you want this, if you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, if you want to do work.
When I look around, I always learn something, and that is to be always yourself and to express yourself, to have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate him.
I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove.
Michael shakes the finger.
Ben Graham in his low teens looked around and he looked at the people he admired and he said, you know, I want to be admired, so why don't I just behave like them? And he found there was nothing impossible about behaving like them.
If you're doing anything interesting in the world, you're going to have critics. The only way, if you absolutely can't tolerate critics, then don't do anything new or interesting. I would just say, go stand on a street corner and watch in a crowded urban area and watch all the people walk by and think about what they're thinking about. I bet you none of those people are thinking about you.